Hello, we're back up in the kitchen. I want to spend a couple more minutes talking about the big question, which is how mice get into your house. The short answer is they'll come in anywhere they find an opening, and there's plenty of them. Those mice, I'm convinced they just check out anytime they see a hole that they can fit through, they'll go in it and see what they can find. And mice can squish down and get through an opening a quarter inch. A mouse can fit under a quarter-inch opening. That's not very much. Take out a ruler and look at 1/4 of 1 inch and see what that is. They can come under your door. They can come in up under if you have aluminum siding or vinyl siding on your house, they can get up underneath that sometimes. I actually saw one. This house has the original 1968 aluminum siding around a portion of the house, and I was actually walking from front to back outside, and I saw a mouse climbing up the block foundation, and he scooted right up underneath the aluminum siding. Where'd he go? Who knows? He went through the wall and probably into the basement or up into the attic. Who knows where they go from there? But that's how they fan out. You know, they'll come up. If you have an apartment, let's talk about an apartment. You know, they can come through a wall. They can come under your door. In an apartment, I would say that it's going to be much easier for you to find where they're coming through. You'll find a little hole in the wall someplace. You can bet that's where they're coming from, or underneath a door. Probably less likely that they're coming underneath a door. They're probably coming through a hole someplace. So check behind things. Check behind your washer or dryer. Now there's an opening, or your dryer vents out, or where your water pipes come through. The walls and the floors, they follow those paths. That's like little highways to them. So chances are in a house, as I may have said earlier, you know, they're going to come in the house, they're going to follow the wall cavities, they're going to go up in the attic or down in the basement, fan out. They're fruitful, they multiply, and pretty soon there's a bunch of them looking for food, and they're going to eventually find your kitchen, and that's where you're going to find droppings on your countertop, or underneath your cabinet, or on a shelf someplace. What I'd like to do is, after I take a sip of this adult beverage, I want to show you a trap and how best to set it. I use peanut butter. You can use excuse me, you can use peanut butter. I think is the best because you know you can smear it on there, lump it on there. You can use bread. You can use whatever you want, really. But what you want to do is your objective is to make them trip the trap, you know. And mice are very, very agile. They're so delicate. They can lick the peanut butter, and they often do. More often than not, actually, they'll lick that peanut butter off of there. And I mean, that's not that easy to lick. But they can lick that peanut butter off of there without tripping the trap. You'll come back, and that trap will be clean as a whistle. And the peanut butter will be gone, and the trap will not have been tripped. It'll be just the way you left it, but the peanut butter will be gone. How they do that, I have no idea. But there's two kinds of mechanisms. The older traditional type, I'm going to move up closer to the camera so you can see it. This is a trap that I pulled out of my attic, and it's got some peanut butter on it, and it has a sunflower seed stuck in the peanut butter, so I thought I'd try to make them wrestle with that. Maybe it'll trip it. But I dragged it down because it has the old style mechanism on there. I want to show it to you. So let me step a little closer to the camera. Can you see this mechanism here? It's an old style as compared to this. This is a brand new trap. See, you see a lot of them now these days, but you can still get these actually. This is made by Victor. That's an old name in mouse traps. This is some other kind of, I don't know who made this. Somebody offshore, I think. But either one you use, you can fold that back, Now, a word of caution, you would never want to put your finger or your thumb in the line of fire in case you let loose of this thing. There's a little notch here. I'm hoping you can see this. And you set this lever just underneath there, and it's not much holding it there either. Oh, I just lost my sunflower seed. Now, after you set that, grab it here and release your thumb to the side, so you're not in the line of fire. When you place this down, place it very carefully and gingerly so you don't trip it. And never put yourself in the line of fire. You don't want to get, it's not going to feel too good if you get hit with that thing. I actually did this morning. It's not hard to stay out of its way. Now this one, this one here, it's a little trickier to load or to set. You gotta hold this lever back, get your finger under there like that, place a thumb here to hold it, and then stick that underneath there like that. And it's going to be stuck up in the air like that a little bit. Sometimes you can get it to set where it's not up in the air so much. Now this is very sensitive too. You'll trip it, a lot of times you'll trip it just setting it down on the floor. But the important thing, as I said, again, I'll say it again, stay out of the line of fire. You got to kind of be a little bit tricky and able to do more than one thing with your fingers. You know, you hold it down with your thumb, get your finger underneath that thing, and then raise it up a little bit and put the tip of your rod right there. And it's not going to want to stay because it's very sensitive. And be careful when you let it go, because it'll get you. I think that's it there. I'm going to pull my thumb away. You might have to play around with it a few times. You know, it's pretty sensitive. When you get it down on, set it down on the floor, a lot of times it'll trip because it's so sensitive. But this kind of a bait platform here, it looks like a piece of cheese, which is kind of corny. But you can spread peanut butter around, get it in all the holes and everything. It's got a little spot here. You can, if you want, you can stick a little sunflower seed in there or something. Anything to make them wrestle with it a little bit. It's even got a prong here. You can stick a piece of cheese on it if you want to. But they're so agile. They can get anything off of there so gently that they won't trip it. It's amazing to me because you can hardly set it on the floor without tripping it, and they can get anything they want off of that without tripping it. That's why I showed you downstairs, when you set them on the floor, set them head to head like that, because while they're working their way around trying to lick the cheese off of there, they're going to step on one of these or the other. And it's very effective when you do that. Now the other thing is, I've been told is, and I've tried it, once you get the peanut butter on there, you know, get the peanut butter on there, take some thread, you know, sewing thread, wrap it around there and get it all in the peanut butter. And you know, some people suggest that in trying to clean the peanut butter off with the threads in there, it gets tangled up in their teeth, and I'm not so sure I buy that, because I have tried that and I've come back and found this thing clean as a whistle with the peanut butter gone, but the thread's still intact and the threads are clean. So, you know, I have caught mice with the threads, but I think I would have caught them anyway. I don't do that anymore because I don't think it's that effective. This is the most effective method right here. Put them right together, edge to edge or head to head, and you place it along a wall. These mice travel, it's dark, you know, they travel along the wall. And that's where you'll find them. That's their little runways. It's out in the middle of the floor. They might find it, but it'll take them longer. What else did I want to tell you? Let's talk about poisons. You know, you have decon. It's a big name in mouse poisons, rodent poisons. Nowadays they advertise that these poisons they can eat a lethal dose just in one sitting, and that may be true. It's effective. It kills mice. The part that I don't like about it, excuse me, is, yes, it kills them, but you have no control over where they die or when. I used to understand, and I think it's correct. I might be incorrect. That they used to say that once they ingest that stuff, then they become very thirsty and they run for water. Well, if they have to run outside for water, that's great, but they don't always have to do that. There's parts of my basement around the perimeter. I have a French drain where it's wet most of the year, and it's contained in a little trough next to the foundation wall, and then it runs out. It runs outside. There's water in my basement, you know, and I'm sure they've found it. They know where it is. But anyway, you don't want them dying in your cellar. You don't want them dying in a wall. You don't want them dying behind your refrigerator. I had a house that I lived in for 15 years, and it was towards the end of our time there. One of the last years we lived there, I was doing some cleaning. Up on top of the cabinets, I found a skeleton of a mouse. It wasn't on top. I would have found it long before if it was clearly visible. But what it was, we tore off the soffit, and it was inside the soffit above the cabinet. Nothing there but the skeleton. You know, it doesn't take long for them to dry up and go back to dust. But there was a time there that it must have stunk in that kitchen long before we lived there. So that's the thing with the poisons. The other thing is, you want to think long and hard before you bring that stuff in your house. If you have kids, and or if you have pets, for two reasons. The obvious reasons: you don't want your kids getting into it, you know, handling it and then putting their fingers in their mouth. You don't want your dogs, you know, the dogs probably wouldn't, or the cats wouldn't ingest it. But if they find a mouse around that's eating it but hasn't died yet, you know, it might take a day or two before they die. And meanwhile, they're pretty goofy. They're walking around, they have no fear, they're all goofed up, and you know, a cat gets a hold of one of them. You don't want your cat chewing on a poisoned mouse, or your dog either, for that matter. That's in your house. The other bad part about these rodent poisons is even outside. You know, for the same reasons, the wildlife outside feeds on these mice, and you know, you don't want the unintended consequence of poisoning an owl, or a fox, or whatever else is going to grab that mouse. And who knows if your cat or your dog might grab a goofy mouse outside either that's been poisoned. So I think the poisons are losing their allure as we move forward and are more environmentally conscious as a society. But I know there's still a lot of it in use out there. They sell millions of pounds of that stuff every year. I chose not to use it anymore. What I found, the easiest way, the best way that I found to kill a mouse. Oh, first, before I show you that, I'm going to show you this. Humane trap. This is called a have-a-heart trap. There are also other manufacturers. This, you can set this so the mouse goes in after the bait. Once he's in there, he steps on this tray inside, and he trips it and the door is shut and he can't get out. So what you end up with is a little caged mouse. These come in all sizes. You can get them as big. You can find them that'll catch raccoons or cats. You know, if you have feral cats in the neighborhood, or I've caught a possum in one once that I had intended to catch a squirrel in. But this is a nice little small one for mice, or perhaps maybe chipmunks. The biggest drawback of this that I see is, yes, it's humane. It doesn't kill them. It's clean. No muss, no fuss. But then what do you do with the mouse? You're going to have to take them somewhere. You want to take them out in the backyard and drop them off? There's 1,000 more of them out there where this one came from. You know, you can play that game if you want. Catch them indoors, bring them outdoors, and they're going to come right back in again, because chances are good that you're going to have them come right back in. I did this for a while. I played this game for a while, and I got tired of it, because there are literally thousands of mice out there within 100 feet of your house. This is what I like to do now. This is what I found the best. I wish I found this 30 years ago. This is called a rat zapper. for rats and mice. I also use it for chipmunks. It's charged up. It's got batteries in it. It stores a charge, which doesn't take much to make a mouse's heart stop. It's got little AA batteries in it. It stores up a charge. When he walks in there, he steps across there's a metal plate on the floor, and there's a separation. There's another metal plate on the floor. When he straddles those two plates, it's lights out. It's nicer than nose traps because it is no muss, no fuss, no blood, no guts, no gore. And all you do is you take them outside, open a garbage can, drop them in there. You don't even have to look at them. It's very effective, it's clean, and it's final. I like it. Lights out. I think that's about all I wanted to tell you today. I went through the different types of traps, from the more traditional and historical spring-loaded mouse traps, which are final as well. They're just messy. And to the humane traps, and to the have a heart trap, which is the king of the jungle as far as I'm concerned. With that, I'm going to sign off. I hope this information has been useful to you. Again, I'm Dave Christensen from Home and Garden 911.com. Please come and visit our website. You'll find all kinds of tips and know-how and how-to advice about how to do things around your house that you might have a question about. And if you have a question about something that I might have some insight on, please ask me. Leave a comment, ask me a question. I'd be happy to weigh in on that. And also, I'd appreciate it if you go to Facebook and share our stuff with your Facebook friends or some other form of social media. With that, I'll sign off. Have a great day. Again, Dave Christensen, signing off. Take care. Weston, back to work.